Putting itself has been misunderstood. I would like to talk about putting in another session maybe. A basic problem with the putting, the understanding of putting is that you're not flying the ball, we're rolling the ball. And really we're not rolling the ball right off the putter head. It's a ballistic change again between the putter head and the ball. And there is no real measurement for the true ball speed on a green. So I had to come up with my own meter for ball speed in inches per second to kind of understand what a true green speed is, or a true ball speed on a green is. In the 1930s, Edward J. Stimp made the Stimp meter, and the Stimp meter is basically rolling a ball down a ramp and seeing how far the ball goes, and then defining the speed of the green based on what distance the ball goes in two directions, opposite directions. And assuming that is 13 feet in one direction and then 11 feet in the other direction, so you end up taking the average of the two and saying the speed of the green is 12. That is not applicable to the player for one reason, because from the Stimp meter the ball is rolling down a ramp and actually has overspin by the time it hits the ground, whereas the putter is hitting, the player is hitting the ball from a stationary standpoint. And from a stationary standpoint, there's a skid in the ball because it's a ballistic change, and there's 46 grams of weight that the ball is bearing on the ground. And that sudden change of speed, from 0 to top speed right away is a ballistic change, and the ball shoots off at top speed right off the start of its motion, and has to avoid friction with the ground to begin with. And thereby the friction of the turf takes over and produces a spin, and wherever the spin becomes perfectly in sync with the velocity of the ball appears to then roll purely, and that's where it starts to take the break. So there's no way that the Stimp meter can be used for either line reading or it can be used for matching putters, because it's a completely different measurement, and it helps the greenskeepers but it doesn't help the players. So to be able to help the players, I've got my own meter that I call the IPS meter. It gives us the reading of a ball speed in inches per second, and can define what a 10-footer on a flat surface up the hill or downhill on a certain green requires right off the club face. How much is the ball speed? So people will not be talking about it's slow or it's fast or it's medium, because it's all subjective to the green speed to begin with. So what it would eventually come down to is how many inches per second do I strike this ball for it to have the best chance. Just like you do it on a full swing with golf clubs, you say, okay, this is my 3/4 swing with a 9-iron, and let's say that goes 140 yards. And then you say my full swing with a 9-iron goes 150 yards. Well, then your 3/4 swing is what's required here. And that's exactly what you need with putting, because for different distances we have 13 golf clubs, but for putting we just have the one putter. And any player who gets matched up to the speed for the week, he is going to putt great. They don't realize it, but that's the reason the top pros will tell you that there are weeks that they just make everything, and they play well purely because they've made everything. And nothing is a mystery about that. It's purely that the impact that they're seeing or feeling, or again, the word feel is so important, the impact that they're feeling for the ideal distance of the ball is delivering the optimal velocity at impact to the ball for it to match the line that they're seeing. And between speed and line, speed is more important, because it's the speed that dictates the line that the ball travels on, not the other way around. So impact again is everything, even in putting, and therefore it's important to have technologies like the IPS meter, which should reach the market soon, and hopefully we'll see more and more players play better golf.